Alright, what's up everybody? My name is Sen. Welcome back to the channel. For today's video, I want to talk a little bit relating to how I made it to silver. But first, let's go skate. For today's video, the trick I want to work on is a no slide. Now, it's a trick I've done before, but I want it to be more of a go-to trick. Before we get into it, let's get warmed up. Last one. Oh, no. Okay, my goal is not to get stuck on a board slide. I'm sufficiently warmed up. I didn't quite get it, but we'll come back for it eventually. But let's try some no slides. If I'm gonna do more green screen stuff, I gotta fix this lighting situation. Alright, so I wanted to share some advice that would maybe help you break through that bronze barrier. And the first place that I want to start is with the actual characters, and that is to main your main. Now, as someone that records YouTube videos, I have a bit of a habit of changing all around the cast. Very recently, I was playing some Cody, Kage, Akira, and the character that actually helped me get to silver was Karen. Instead of hopping all around the cast like this, I would definitely say it would make things a lot easier if you focused on one particular character to improve with. The character for me should have been Kage, but I gotta make videos, I guess. Alright, the first place I actually want to start when it comes to maining your main is to just get comfortable with your character. Be comfortable with your character, and that's kind of the idea of sticking with one character, is that you're comfy when situations come up, you know your punishes, you're familiar with your moves and what they do and what they're good for. Having that comfort pick is going to help you a lot. Now, when I actually set this goal for myself, I thought it was going to be much harder than it actually was, but some very basic ideas like this kind of helped me on my way, and I was going on a little bit of a tear nearing the end of things. I did for sure have my ups and my downs, and that's in part because I wasn't playing a whole lot, and that's going to be the next thing, is consistency. Having consistency in your play is going to aid you being more comfortable in the game. Now, when it comes down to my first rule in actual fighting, I would go with, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. This will lead into a future point, but chances are in any level of bronze, people are going to be jumping a lot. People are going to be jumping all over the screen. They're going to be looking like a maniac out there. So be prepared for that. But if you're the one that's jumping, if you're the one that's getting away with all these jump-ins, if it ain't broke and it's hitting, abuse it. Don't feel like you need this like honor code of like, oh, well, I've jumped 3 times this round. That's more than enough. I'll be on my way. The next point I want to go over is to keep your BNBs buttery, to make sure that you have them so drilled and so dialed that you cannot drop them. This is obviously important because dropping combos when it is a crucial setting to land them, make sure that there is no damage left on the table. The next thing I would recommend is to understand the goal of your character in relation to the matchup that you're playing. Typically, I look at Kage as a more aggressive version of the Shoto archetype. He does have fireballs to kind of play a little bit of the lame game, but I would say primarily most of his kit is for getting in. Now, in relation to whatever your character you're fighting is important, obviously, if you're fighting something like a grappler, you probably want to be far away from them, and if you're fighting a zoner, you want to go in. The next thing I would say is to get glued. And what I mean by this is, as I said prior, at bronze level, people are going to be jumping all around the screen at all times. So being prepared for your opponent to be the one jumping is very important. Learning something like your anti-air is very important. Getting comfortable with it. And landing this disincentivizes your opponent from continuing to jump. Chances are there are going to be players that are going to jump regardless, but as long as you're prepared for it, it won't matter. My next point is definitely for me in particular, and that is to remember your V gauge. Your V gauge is actually very important, whether that's for V shifting or V trigger, V reversal, whatever you want to use it for. Understanding situations to use your V gauge for is also very important as well, but as a general staple, I would say just to remember to use your V trigger, because if you don't use it, you lose it. Following that up on the topic of meter awareness is be aware of your opponent's meter as well. Seeing that my opponent has 3 bars is pretty scary, because that means a wake-up critical R is in question, and if my opponent is like a Shoto or has any meter reversal, that's something I want to be aware of in the clutch as well. Oh no!
That means a wake-up critical R is in question.
What are you, stupid?
Speaking of reversals, there's a character called Ken Masters. I don't know what it is about Ken players at low level, but they like to just while out. Ken players are pretty wild. They will absolutely do DP into another DP right after. They will Tatsu into throw. They will do everything under the sun. They'll be jumping all over the screen. So just be aware of it. This next one's going to be a little bit more difficult and also basing around the matches, but it is to pay attention. At low level, if your opponent is doing something, chances are they're going to look to do it again as soon as possible. So understanding situations and interactions that could come up again is going to prevent you by getting hit by them again. So if I, as a player, like to do light punch and then forward medium punch right after, chances are I might expect it again. Same thing, maybe if I do neutral jump, heavy punch, and then maybe I do forward medium punch right after, look out for it. Let's go ahead and risk it, man. Let's, what's the point? What's the point of getting ranked and playing ranked if you're not gonna risk it? Not what I wanted. I am so fucked. No! Fuck!
6.5 hours later.
We bring those back. I almost would prefer if I wasn't quite silver. Well, it has been a roller coaster of emotions, this recording session. The problem is not getting it. The problem is keeping it and going upwards right now. So thank you all for watching. If you guys want to see more, check out the rest of the channel. In the description, the link's not just my channel, but my friend's channels as well. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Peace.